Hello and welcome back to the Bright Light Wellness YouTube channel and the Healing with Homeopathy Substack. Thank you so much for being here and taking an interest in learning how to use homeopathic medicine to support yourself, your family, and whomever, maybe even your clients. Today, we are going to do a remedy spotlight and we're going to talk all about the remedy Chamomilla. What a great, incredible remedy. I just used it in my own family and I wanted to share that experience. Maybe let's start with that. Let's share the experience because this will really help you understand the essence of Chamomilla and then we'll deep dive into it. If you're not over on my Substack, Healing with Homeopathy, go jump over there as well because I just talk exclusively about homeopathy, and that's an interest and you want to learn how to use homeopathy in your home, please do that. If you want, become a paid subscriber, you get exclusive content. And also you can join my acute homeopathy courses so you can learn to be empowered to use this medicine at home, right? When the situations arise that need it. And the situation arose in my own home with my youngest son, Matthew, a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week ago. He came downstairs with his little blaring headache, blaring. His head was pounding and he felt awful. There's a second remedy choice I would have given if this one didn't work, and I'll tell you what that was as well. But he came out on this blaring headache and he lay down on the couch and he started getting very demanding. Like his nervous system was in hyper overdrive and hypersensitivity to all things. He's like, turn off the TV, get me some water. I need a remedy right now. Like he was like demanding. And when I meant to go make him a remedy, this Chamomilla is what I wanted giving him. He was like, I first was going to just give him the pellets. He's like, dissolve it in water. Like he likes it better when they're dissolved in water than taking them under the tongue. And then he was like, it's taking too long for them to dissolve. Like they're very, very demanding and their nervous systems are hypersensitive to pain, noise, light, like all of the things. The other remedy I would have thought of is Belladonna in this case. If Chamomilla didn't act, I would have given Belladonna. But Chamomilla act beautifully. In fact, within 10 minutes, he was passed out and slept for about 2 to 3 hours, which is a great remedy response, and woke up and was completely fine. Okay. Chamomilla is also a remedy for ailments from anger. And the day before at school, the day before this headache situation, he had an altercation with a student at school who had kicked him in the nuts. And he retaliated. But obviously there was anger and, mortification and things like that. So it's either he's going to go to Staphylococcus aureus state, he went to a Chamomilla state, he's has these ailments from anger. So that's what also drew me to Chamomilla. And just the way he was being so demanding and so he needed a quiet, dark space because his head was hurting so much. But Chamomilla has a very oversensitive nervous system, very hypersensitive nervous system. So that's what made me go with this remedy, and it worked beautifully. It's a very good children's remedy. So I gave him a 30C. I actually didn't have a Fibonacci prepared. So I just gave him a 30C. It worked great. Done. He was back to himself. But let's go over Chamomilla and just help you understand the core essence of this remedy. And now you know a little bit about how they can be, right? Sometimes they can be capricious, which means that like you give them something and then they throw it back at you. He was not doing this. He was just very demanding. But the essence of Chamomilla is I cannot tolerate this sensation, this emotion, or the situation. So he could not tolerate the sensation and he needed it fixed now. Matthew had a chamomilla ear infection one time with the same thing, which I use chamomilla for as well. Chamomilla is a great remedy for left-sided ear infections. I gave him a 30C, it worked amazing. But this situation was the same, where he was in intense ear pain, and it was like, I need help now. Like I cannot wait. That's chamomilla, okay? So they can't tolerate the sensation. You got to fix it. Okay. There's extreme sensitivity. They're pretty much acting like a 2-year-old having a tantrum, basically, when they're having an extreme emotional state. There's extreme sensitivity. There's intolerable to pain, extreme sensitivity to pain. There can be irritability and rage. Nervous system is just completely overloaded and fried. They cannot take any sound, light, noise, pain, any of that. Very nervous system overload. Okay. And you cannot please them. They're inconsolable. Okay. Chamomilla is explosive. Okay. Chamomilia's like nervous system is the fight remedy mode. It's in the fight mode. Okay. The nervous system is overstimulated, it's hyperactive, unable to regulate pain or emotion. So it's in this fight mode. Okay. Pain is not just painful, it's unbearable. This is why chamomilla is one of the most important remedies in acute prescribing. So you have this painful ear infection, this painful stomach pain, this painful headache that is just intolerable. Even if you don't shift that pain, like completely gone or completely cure the state, if you can cure that emotional state, you're going to put that person in a much more calm, more regulated state to be able to like to make next steps. Because when they're in this state, they are so demanding and they are so hypersensitive, you just have to stop it. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. Okay. So the Chamomilla emotional state is irritable, angry, violent reaction, snappish, rude, demanding, easily offended, cannot be pleased, throw things, screams, rejects comfort. So they're like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum. Like that is the best way to describe a Chamomilla state. Want something and then they throw it at you. So they ask for an apple and then they're like, nah, I don't want it, and they don't eat it, or they want the toy and they don't want it. Wants to be held but then pushes you away. That's very Chamomilla. Cries angrily, not softly. Chamomilla and Pulsatilla are both great remedies for ear infections, but Chamomilla is mad and demanding and irritable, and you want to like punch them in the face because they're so obnoxious, right? Where Pulsatilla, you want to give them a hug because they're like so soft and sweet, and they are just sad and weepy and whiny because they're in pain, and they want to be held and reassured. Okay. This can also be an adult remedy too, though. It's very commonly indicated in children, but it can be indicated in adults too, who are acting like 2-year-olds and having 2-year-old tantrums, basically. Um, in adults, you're going to see rage during pain. So the pain makes them rageful. So give them chamomile to calm them down. You're going to see PMS in women, migraine issues, could be a tooth pain, any kind of pain. There's zero tolerance for discomfort in chamomile. Zero tolerance. Like I cannot tolerate discomfort and pain. Take it away now. There could be emotional explosions, verbal aggression when suffering. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Fix this now. When you have this demanding fix this now, you must think chamomile. You have to. Okay. Um, keynotes on the physical level. They're intense, they're violent, pain is unbearable. Disappropriate to the pathology. Like they're like the pain is so intense to them because they're hypersensitive on the nervous system, right? Worse at night, worse from heat, can be worse at 9 p.m. is like also like a time, like the evening time when this can come up. Um, Usually for children who are better being rocked and carried, they want to be rocked all the time. I had a child who could not be put down and had to be rocked literally all the time, right? That's the Chamomilla child. It's the classic teething remedy, of course. I'm sure if you know anything about homeopathy, you've used Chamomilla before for teething because it's the classic teething pain remedy and it really does help. Um, Signs, they can have one cheek red and the other pale. They can be screaming, they arch their back, there's stiffness, they refuse your comfort and to be held. There's diarrhea during teething, it actually could be green. um, there's colic and GI pain, so there's abdominal cramping, it could be green, like I just said. Offensive stools, worse from anger, they are worse from anger, so they get angry about something and this makes all of these symptoms come out even more. Babies with colic, with rage like crying, you want to use this remedy. So colic, teething, earaches, all of these 2-year-old temper tantrums, please think of chamomile. It could save your day. It could change the child. Um, on the hormonal sphere for women, there can be dysmenorrhea, painful periods with rage and irritability. There can be labor pains with extreme sensitivity. You could use it for PMS with anger in their intolerance and like snapping at everybody. I mean, you might want to think of sepia or something else that's more appropriate, but chamomile, don't rule it out, right? Headaches, migraines, throbbing, bursting pain, worse from anger, light noise, just like I mentioned with my child's case. Desire to be alone, don't speak to me, right? Like, leave me alone. They just can't handle, their nervous system is so fried, they can't handle one more input, okay? So just other acute remedies, I kind of already mentioned this before, but chamomile versus pulsatilla. Pulsatilla is soft, weepy, wants comfort. Chamomile is angry, rejects your comfort. If they want to be held, pulsatilla. If they scream when held, chamomile is going to push you away. Chamomile is not going to want to be held. They might want to be rocked because the motion helps them, but other than that, they don't want your comfort. Chamomile versus belladonna. Belladonna is sudden, violent, hot, delirious. extreme high fever. If my child with the headache would have had a high fever with this, I would have probably given Belladonna in that situation because Belladonna has this oversensitive nervous system to pain and light and noise, but they're not as demanding as Chamomilla. Chamomilla, irritable, hypersensitive, angry. Bella is a fever that's with intensity. Chamomilla is pain and rage. Okay. Um, Chamomilla versus MagPhos. MagPhos is cramping, pain relieved by heat and pressure. Chamomilla is because you can have this with the colic, right? MagPhos is cramping that's relieved with pain relieved by pressure and heat. Chamomilla is intolerable pain with emotional reactivity. If the emotional rage is central, think of chamomilla, okay? Anyway, although chamomilla is famously an acute remedy, it can also be a constitutional remedy, right? Remedies can go either way. Chamomilla constitutions are strong-willed, very dominant personalities, low frustration tolerance, highly sensitive to pain, injustice or ailments from anger, injustice to them, right? Like this is like, don't bring any injustices. There can be control issues, anger when needs are unmet, often seen in children with strong personalities, adults with suppressed rage, chronic tension, and women with severe PMS issues. Really, the theme here is the nervous system has reached its limit. The woman or child can't be soothed, and the body is screaming, the soul cannot tolerate it. Chamomilla is the remedy for the moment when the nervous system says, this is too much. I've reached my threshold. So that's basically, what happened with my son the other day, and that's why I wanted to share this remedy. I'm just thinking of anything else I want to share with you about it. Hypersensitivity to pain, complaints initiated by anger. You would also think of Staphylococcus aureus, vomica, and cocculus as well for complaints initiated by anger. But Staphylococcus aureus is much more. I mean, they can throw things, but they're usually not going to be. They're much more soft and sweet and not the same kind of remedy. But anyway, they're anger with great irritability, irritable infants or children. They may strike or kick or at the parent or even the doctor. Must be carried, cries are put down. Parents must walk up and down to quiet him. Inconsolable children and infants, aversion to being touched, demands things and then throws it away. They don't like wind. They have fear of wind. They're restless. They have abdominal pain, oversensitive to pain. Pain seems unbearable. Aggravations at 9 a.m. or 9 to 10 p.m. Complaints with teething, diarrhea, fever, irritable, warm-blooded. They usually like cold drinks. The aggravation is worse at night. One cheek pale, one cheek red. You mentioned that. Ear pain, or it's either acute or chronic ear pain. Pulse and mercury also are ones to think of for acute and chronic ear pain. Toothaches that are worse from coffee, warm drinks, worse anger, better from cold drinks. Painful teething, we talked about that. Diarrhea during teething, rotten egg odor, looks like grass or cut spinach. Colic, they're thirsty for cold drinks. Could be useful in severe PMS or dysmenorrhea or painful periods. Pain may extend into the thighs. Labor pain with irritability could be used for asthma or croup in children that have a dry cough worse from 9 to 12 a.m. Breath holding in angry children. They have hot feet and they stick them out of the covers at night, like your Pulsatilla. But again, Pulsatilla is nice and soft and sweet, but also like sulfur. They have arthritic pains, worse at night, ameliorated by walking. Restless sleep, wakes often, sleepless, weeping in sleep or crying in sleep. Yeah, I saw that before. So yeah, think of this remedy. It's a really good one to have. You need to have it if you have children, if you're a parent. This is a remedy that you cannot not have in your toolkit. I would highly recommend it because it can change the child's state like that. Again, because all dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, discomfort, right, is just an energetic distortion in the body. It's just an energetic imbalance. So if we can soothe or shift that distortion, we can shift the state, right? Like how quickly I saw my son shift from this chamomilla state to this more calm, regulated state. We shifted the nervous system. Okay. That's what we're doing. Okay. And of course, that state might come up again, and we need that remedy again because these energy distortions happen in spirals. The healing happens in spirals, not layers. It's a spiraling pattern that keeps repeating until the person learns the lessons that they need to learn, until the person, reaches each time the person reaches that same state again, they experience it a little bit differently and they learn from that experience, hopefully. So yeah, check out this remedy. Let me know your questions, comments, concerns. Let me know if you ever used Chamomilla before, had success stories with it. It's a very common remedy. If you don't already have it, go and grab. If you're a parent, I would highly recommend grabbing my Common Childhood Ailments course. So it goes over all of the common childhood ailments, from bedwetting to sucking your thumb to what I do when my child gets a concussion, to a laceration, to a bruise, to everything you can think of. My child has a stomach virus, the bloody nose, all the acute things you can think of that your children are going to come across. That course covers it. So go check out that course. Again, tell me your experience with Chamomilla. And yeah, if you need support acutely, chronically with yourself or your children, I'm here to help. You can book in a homeopathic session. I am taking new one-to-one clients. You can also join me over on my Substack, so you can learn more there as well and join that conversation. I'm really trying to build up a big community there so we can dive deep and have lives and conversations about homeopathy and how to use it. I have a strong desire to spread awareness about this medicine and to help people and to support people. So please join me over there as well. All right, I will catch you on the next video. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.